All right. So here we go. Superman and Lois, episode 3. This one. Let me adjust here. There we go. This one, I think, kind of took it down a little bit from the other two, but also kind of gave us more growth. We now see that Jordan is going to be playing football now. So that's kind of cool, right? Anyway, welcome to Redeeming Bad Movies. We are live talking about Superman and Lois, episode 3. I think we'll go a little bit into Flash as well. But for the most part, we're going to be talking Superman and Lois, episode 3. And if you're watching this on replay, welcome. If there's anything else that you'd like me to cover, go ahead and drop it down in the comments there. But we are going to be talking Superman and Lois, episode 3. Okay, so first thing that we noticed, no Lex. There was no Lex in this episode. After 2 episodes purely that we got of Lex Luthor, there was no Lex in this episode. Another thing that we want to hit on is this is the first episode we have of Lois Lane not working at the Daily Planet. So that's got to be pretty interesting, right? She's already chasing this Morgan Edge story. The Smallville Gazette didn't want to publish her, so that was something that we got into, right? Like, we kind of knew that she was going to go a little into the she kind of was going to go a little into butting heads with the editor, right? Because that's kind of what she does. But then obviously her car is bombed, and so boom, here we go, right? Now we're in it. Now we're going straight into chasing this Morgan Edge story. And are they really kind of just lining up this villain that she faced, this guy with super strength? Because it's obvious that he's working for Morgan Edge, right? But is he, though? Because that's a little too on the nose for him to be working for Morgan Edge. But, I mean, I guess it's possible, right? He also, let me say this right now. I kind of forgot to say it before. But there are heavy, heavy spoilers here for Superman and Lois episode 3. I just want to lay that out because I forgot to even say that, right? But yes, we are in heavy, heavy spoilers here. Now, moving on. So I love the whole. There's still that callback to Lois is facing that guy in the hotel. She's on this lead. She knows she's walking into a trap. She's got the device at the ready. And boom, guy says, that's not going to help you. And, oh man, this line is so great. That's not going to help you, I know, but he will. Click, and he's there immediately. If that doesn't tell you how fast Superman is moving, I mean, what does, right? This guy is moving. One of the other things I really liked about this episode is more towards the beginning when he is actually flying to China because he hears the earthquake and he just takes off. And Lois kind of has that little, oh, I guess we don't really need to hide this from you now that you know. So he takes off. He's out. He's gone. He is, so he gets over there into China, gets over to China, saves that fisherman in the boat, catches the bridge, raises it up. That right there kind of shows you, okay, this is, this is a Superman that's going to be around, right? He's around the whole world. What I also enjoy about this episode is they didn't lean too heavy into Superman, right? I'm just looking at my face right now. I'm like really lit, huh? You know what? We're going it, right? What is it Bill O'Reilly says? Great, we're doing it live! Here, how about I tip my hat down, give you a little smoldering look. Does that work? No. Probably look like I drank grape juice or prune juice or something. So one of the things, like I said, I enjoyed about this episode is we didn't see too much of him being Superman, but when we did see him being Superman, oh my gosh. Okay, when he's having that fight scene with the guy with the super strength, right? He sees that super strength isn't going to be enough, right? That's not enough to beat this guy. So what does he do? Man, he starts using his other powers. Exactly what you would think Superman would do, right? So he starts using his other powers, mainly freeze breath, and then smokes the tar out of him with that. And then ends up taking him up, dropping him. He ends up using his laser beams a little bit later. But what I'm wondering is, are we going to find out? Because there's something in the back of my mind that wonders if Morgan Edge really was behind this, and hear me out. If it's not General Lane testing these power people that he has, now would he sacrifice them, having that girl with the laser beams kill that guy? I don't know, right? That's kind of a stretch. Would he be willing to make these people with powers? I think definitely. I think he definitely would, and I think he probably definitely has. And I think somebody else has control of them now. Or maybe he began the process, and maybe that's where Luthor comes on. Maybe this is the beginning of that project. I don't know. But these are just kind of my musings on it, right? Because I think that there's a lot of story here to unpack. We mentioned earlier that Jordan is playing football now, and now Jonathan's kind of taking the back seat. So I wonder if they're going to explore. I think that Jonathan's actually okay with it because deep down he cares about his brother, right? And he wants him to just be happy. And he realizes that finally for the first time he's happy. I mean, yeah, he's doing it for a girl, but it's also for him, right? And so we actually saw her break up with her boyfriend. We saw those two make up. So, there's a lot of growth going on here. The only thing that I see with this, though, is there was a news thing. Let me see. Okay. Let's go to Google. All right. There was a thing. Superman and Lois hiatus. Here we go. Superman and Lois will go on a hiatus, right? So let's go to the Collider. All right. It says Supergirl is coming back, right? So pilot aired February 23rd. Blah, 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 blah. Prior to reporting, blah, 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 blah. Here we go. Superman and Lois will only be on hiatus for 2 months. What do you mean will only be on hiatus for 2 months? It hasn't even been on for 2 months, right? This is the third episode. It's been on for 3 weeks. Okay. It says it is going on hiatus. Here we go. Superman and Lois will pause after airing its 5th episode on March 23rd. So 5 weeks in, right? 5 weeks in. Supergirl will take its time slot, to start their 6th and final season on March 30th. Okay. Then I guess Supergirl will finish. Oh, here we go. I just got to read a couple more things, right? However, it looks like plans are only temporary. Superman and Lois will only be on hiatus for 2 months, returning to finish up its season May 18th, and then Supergirl will go on pause until the summer. Why they chose to do this, I'm not sure. Maybe I really think they're trying to push viewers into Supergirl, and then, hey, Superman and Lois is coming back, and then pull those viewers back in. Maybe to see the tail end because, I honestly don't know. I don't know why they're doing it, but they are. So anyway, after 5 seasons, Superman and Lois will go on hiatus, and then it'll come back on May 18th. So there you go, folks. Kind of stinks, but what can you do, right? What can you do? I guess we can get this back to the old Google, right? There we go. Boom. So, yeah. So we're going to have to pause it for 2 months, and then, we'll get it back. But we get 5 episodes, and so far, each episode is just nailing story, right? So I'm pretty happy about that. Did you watch The Flash? Because I was really excited about that new power they gave him. What new power did they give him? Well, I'm happy you asked. They gave him super thinking. All right? So, maybe not super thinking. Fast thinking, like flash thinking, right? And, there's people that will say, well, what do you mean? He doesn't just think fast? Because I see him, writing on boards really fast, and I see him doing this really fast. That's just doing things fast. Now he's thinking flash, right? Now he's flash thinking, which means he's like supercomputer type thinking, but 1,000 times more powerful than that, right? And he's coming up with all these variations. He's able to think out through all these things and then come up to conclusions. But what did that do? Well, it made him more logical and less emotional. So I really thought that was going to kind of play out over a few episodes, and that was going to kind of be, hey, this is, you're the villain, right? You've become the very villain because, Mirror Master's his villain, but also oh man, it would be cool if he was like his own villain too, right? But sadly, it only happened this episode. I mean, he effectively destroyed the artificial Speed Force, and so now they're going to have to find a different way. Now, he did save Iris, but did he? Because Iris is she's bad off, man. She's in some type of seizure, like perpetual seizure. And the people that could help her, he had knocked them out prior to in order to go to this mirror universe and save her. So, I don't know. I don't know what they're doing with that show, man. It seems like they're really... I know they have a plan, but man, it seems like they're kind of putting all their eggs into this Mirror Master villain because, I mean, she was the villain like before, right? Like back into last season, and now here we go with this one starting, and I mean, I get that she's still a villain, but you're getting to a point where we got to start wrapping this up. So I don't know, man. I don't know. This is gonna be an interesting one because, like I said, I thought they could probably pull a good 3 episodes out of him becoming the villain. I mean, but they wrapped it up in that episode, and so now you're pushing back on the Mirror Master, and we know that they're gonna wrap her up from being the villain in the next few episodes, or at least they should. Let's not drag this out over multiple seasons, right? I mean, they've done that before, and I think they lost viewers because of it. But it's still a good show. I think they kind of brought it back. They're bringing stuff back to the emotional. I really wish it would get back to that lighthearted feel from the first couple of seasons. But, oh my God, I almost forgot. Not Nash. Harry is back. We saw him come back at the end of the episode. What was that? Him coming back in this green. So we got Eobard Thawne come back. We saw, it was like, whatever, Once Upon a Time or something. And we saw the whole Eobard Thawne turning into Harry Wells and then burying his body. But now at that gravesite, we see Harry Wells come back. This is what I think. I think when Flash destroyed the artificial Speed Force, those particles, those Wells particles, kind of went through the air and went back to the only Wells that was on this Earth. And it was that skeleton Wells. And it brought him back to life. So he's going to get another Wells, convenient, and they'll probably end up creating another artificial Speed Force. But this time, they'll be able to get one without the Wells particles. And then, boom, here we go. Stable Speed Force now, right? Because it was Wells who created that original one, right? Or did they just tap into it? I can't remember. I had to go back and watch. Man, a lot of big things coming. I'm excited. I'm super excited. Man, I am excited. And so, also, like I said, we've got Superman and Lois for a couple more weeks, right? Because it ends after week 5. So we've got it for 2 more weeks, and then we get Supergirl back. And so, cool, we'll watch that until May, and then we get Superman and Lois back, and then we watch that until the summer, and then we we finish out Superman and Lois, and then we watch that until the summer, and then we get the rest of Supergirl, and that's their final season, right? So they'll wrap everything up there, and then I guess kind of hand off to Superman and Lois. And then boom. And so at that point in time, the CW shows that we'll have on the air are Superman and Lois. We will have Batwoman. We will have Black Lightning. And we will have Flash. But I don't know how much longer Flash has. So I don't know. They're going to have to do something if they want to keep up this whole universe. Because if Superman and Lois isn't really pulling from the other universes, because remember we talked about this last week, it's set, or at least I feel like it's set, 10 to 14 years into the future. So that means Batwoman and Black Lightning aren't doing crossovers with it. So there would be no crossovers. This might be the first year in the last 3 or 4 that we don't have a Crisis episode or arc, right? So we've just got Batwoman, we just got Black Lightning. I don't think Legends of Tomorrow's coming back. It might. I hope it does. Let's see. Is Legends of Tomorrow? Let's just ask. Coming back. Oh. Okay. Okay, it's delayed, but it's coming back. All right. Okay. I stand corrected. So we get a Legends of Tomorrow, which is exciting because they could actually appear in a Superman and Lois episode because they travel in time, right? So, nice. I'm pretty excited about that. I am pretty excited about that. I love that show. I mean, it's just fun. I hate that Brandon Routh is gone. He left, but the show's still fun to me, right? So I'm pretty excited. I'm pretty excited about that. What I had hoped was that they would find some way to bring Diggle back in. Maybe they'll bring him back in Legends of Tomorrow, because if you remember at the end of Arrow, he found that ring, and they had asked him that question, why didn't you go by your father's last name? And his father's last name's Stewart, so John Stewart, Green Lantern, right? And then we saw the ring. They just kind of had to nail that into our heads. Hey, he's Green Lantern. So, will he come back as Green Lantern? Will he just come back as Diggle? Because right now, he's just Diggle, right? Because we saw that in Flash when they asked about Argus. And, Diggle said this. So he's still just Diggle. So, is he going to explore over like that 10-year span and be in a Superman and Lois episode? Will Legends of Tomorrow run into him and they're like, hey, Diggle. And he's like, I'm Green Lantern now. I don't know. That'll be an interesting one to find out, though. That would be really cool. Man, that would be really cool. I would love that. I would love that. That would be cool. But, so, we've got 3 episodes in a bag, each episode telling more story. There's plenty of time for us to get into that Morgan Edge story. There's plenty of time for us to find out who those 2 henchmen are working for. It's 1 henchman now because, she killed that one with laser beams out of her eyes. What's going to happen with her? I don't know. I hope to find out. Again, I just kind of, I wonder if Lane is the one creating these. I don't think he would have them. He's not malicious enough to kill like that, just indiscriminately. So there's somebody else behind it, but, are we to say, well, it's because the obvious choice is that it's, Morgan Edge, right? So are they going to give that to us? Are they going to make it the obvious choice? I don't know, right? But if it is, then it is, right? Maybe that's the wait a minute, this is a perfect time for us to find out. Because if they knew that they were going on hiatus at episode 5, then they would leave that cliffhanger, right? So they write into the 5th episode of the cliffhanger of we find out. It's not really a cliffhanger, but it's more of a reveal, right? So in episode 4, we get a little bit more about it. And then in episode 5, it's leading, and then drop who created them, right? And then boom, there we go. Because like I said, this episode had nothing of Luther. So we will probably get more of Luther's past in next episode. We didn't really get a lot of General Lane, so we'll probably get him in the next episode as well. This one really focused on the growing of the kids and their emotional growth, really. So I think that's kind of how they'll play it, right? They'll play like, leaning pretty heavy into the family, and then we'll have some Superman stuff here. So, if the episode's 45 minutes, we're going to get 30 to 35 of the family, and then, 10 to 15 of the Superman stuff. But this one had big revelation of multiple characters, right? We got to see a little bit of Lana and her dealing with her daughter. So I think that that's going to really play into all the different stories they can tell. Because they obviously have a different upbringing than the boys had. So you can tell that same story, but from a different point of view, and all of a sudden it kind of makes it a different story, right? So I'm looking forward to that. I think that they can really, push that in order to just grow these characters, right? Because you don't have to force them into a box. You can just kind of let them grow organically and just see where it goes, and then write stories around that. So yeah. But they also may fall victim to the create drama, and I don't know. Sometimes it's not that hard to create drama, especially when you have teenagers involved, because I know a lot of people would say, oh, well, they didn't have to do that. But if you know teenagers, a lot of times they would do that, right? Through no rhyme or reason. Sometimes there's not a lot of logic involved, not malicious on their part, but they just don't have the life experience to understand some of that stuff. So it seems like we're getting a lot of that story being told because they don't have the life experience to really understand the consequences of what they do, right? And so that kind of grounds it in more reality, because anybody that does have kids, and especially kids of teenagers, knows that that's kind of accurate, right? They do stuff that's not good for them all the time, and we're just kind of there to make sure they don't do anything too bad, right? Because they got to make their mistakes. So, yeah. But we'll see. We'll see. I look forward to it. So if you enjoyed this episode, let me know in the comments. Like it, just so I can see that everybody's on board. We'll continue this every Wednesday night. We'll kind of wrap all the shows up into a Wednesday night deal. At least all the shows that we watch. If you want me to start watching Batwoman and Black Lightning, I certainly can. I gave Batwoman a chance in the first season. I watched about the first 6 or 7 episodes and I just couldn't get into it. And Black Lightning, I watched probably about the first 8 episodes and I just couldn't get into it. But I mean, maybe I do. Maybe I need to go back and just look at like what happened in the first season and just kind of pick it up, right? But right now it's Superman and Lois, it's Supergirl, it's Legends of Tomorrow, and The Flash. Obviously a big fan of Arrow before it left, but yeah. So that's it. If you have anything specifically that you want me to talk about, or have anything specific that I missed, let me know in the comments, and I will rectify that. But until then, that's pretty much it. So, all right. Well, I'll see you next time.